Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Opportunity is not something that arrives at your doorstep fully formed, waiting to be embraced. It is not some external force that bestows its grace upon the fortunate few. No, it is something you create through discipline, effort, and a relentless pursuit of what is meaningful. The belief that opportunity will simply present itself is a passive illusion, a convenient excuse to justify inaction. You do not wait for opportunity. You forge it. You sculpt it out of the raw material of effort, sacrifice, and responsibility. People often talk about luck. They look at the successful and assume that circumstances, some divine alignment of the stars, were responsible for their achievements. But what they fail to see is the toil, the struggle, the thousand unseen steps taken in the shadows before any measure of success is recognized. They do not see the years of practice, the moments of doubt, the perseverance through failure. And because they do not see it, they assume it does not exist. That is a dangerous lie. The world does not owe you opportunity. It does not owe you success, wealth, or recognition. What it offers instead is adversity. It offers hardship. It places obstacles in your path and dares you to overcome them. And within those obstacles lies the very opportunity so many are waiting for. The people who build great things, whether in business, in art, in science, in their personal lives, are the ones who look at chaos and see the potential to carve order out of it. To create opportunity, you must begin by assuming responsibility, deep, genuine responsibility for your actions, for your potential, for your future. That means taking stock of your weaknesses, confronting them directly, and working on them step by painful step. It means developing a vision for your life, not of hope or a passing dream, but a structured, disciplined plan of action. And it means moving forward even when every part of you wants to turn back, because that is where growth happens. You will face resistance from the world, from other people, from yourself. That resistance is a test. It asks you, how badly do you want this? And if your answer is anything less than absolute determination, then you will falter. The difference between those who create opportunity and those who do not is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is perseverance. It is the willingness to endure discomfort, to push beyond limits, to act when others hesitate. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they refuse to try. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity. But perfection never arrives. Conditions will never be ideal. And in waiting, they surrender their agency to the randomness of circumstance. You cannot afford to wait. You must act, and in acting, you will carve a path where none existed before. So if you find yourself standing still, paralyzed by uncertainty, ask yourself, what small step can I take right now? What action can I commit to today that moves me closer to my goal? Then take that step. And another, because opportunity is not found. It is built brick by brick, step by step, moment by moment, in the quiet hours of dedication when no one is watching. And it is only those who are willing to do the work consistently, relentlessly, who will ultimately create a future worth living in. Opportunity is not something that simply arrives at your doorstep. It does not appear out of nowhere, nor is it a reward handed to you by the world. It is something you create, painstakingly and deliberately, through effort, discipline, and responsibility. The idea that opportunity is given bestowed upon the lucky or the privileged is not only false, but it is also dangerous. It encourages passivity, a mindset that keeps people stagnant, waiting for a moment that will never come. If you want opportunity, you must forge it yourself. People often look at those who succeed and assume they were in the right place at the right time. They talk about luck, about timing, about advantage that others may have had. But what they fail to recognize is the years, sometimes decades, of unseen effort that led to that moment. When someone achieves something extraordinary, it is not because fate smiled upon them. It is because they put in the work long before that opportunity even existed. They made themselves competent, disciplined, and resilient so that when the right moment arose, they were ready to seize it. To create opportunity, you must first take full responsibility for your life. That means abandoning the idea that external forces control your future. If you believe that success is reserved for those with the right connections or the right circumstances, then you will never act. You will wait, hoping that one day the perfect chance will appear, but perfection never comes. Conditions are never ideal, and those who succeed are the ones who take action despite uncertainty, despite difficulty, despite fear. Building opportunity requires skill. People who create success in their lives do so by becoming competent, by acquiring knowledge, refining their abilities, and proving their reliability. If you want doors to open for you, then you need to become the kind of person that people trust, that people seek out, that people recognize as capable. This is not easy. It takes time, it takes sacrifice. But the alternative is worse, a life spent waiting, watching as others move forward while you remain stagnant. And there will be obstacles. The world does not hand out opportunities freely. It places barriers in your way and dares you to overcome them. These challenges are not signals to stop, they are tests. They ask you how badly you want what you claim to seek. If you retreat at the first sign of difficulty, then you were never truly committed. The people who create their own opportunities are the ones who push forward when others give up. Action is the only way forward. You cannot wait for certainty, for permission, for someone else to clear the path. You must take the first step, however small, and then another and another, because opportunity is not something you wait for, it is something you build one step at a time. And if you do that consistently with discipline and determination, then one day others will look at you and call you lucky. But you will know the truth, you created it yourself. Luck is an illusion. It is a convenient narrative people tell themselves to avoid confronting the brutal reality of effort, competence, and responsibility. When people see someone who has achieved something remarkable, whether it's wealth, status, skill, or influence, they often attribute it to luck. They assume that success is simply a matter of being in the right place at the right time. But that perspective is not only incorrect, it is self-defeating. It implies that you have no control over your future, that the outcomes in your life are dictated by random chance rather than by your own actions. That kind of thinking breeds resentment, passivity, and ultimately failure. If luck were truly the defining factor in success, then effort would be meaningless. But that is not what we observe in the real world. The people who succeed, who rise above the rest, are not merely lucky. They are prepared. They have disciplined themselves, honed their skills, and taken responsibility for their circumstances. They have made sacrifices, endured failures, and persisted when others quit. And because they did all of this, they positioned themselves so that when an opportunity arose, they could take full advantage of it. This is the fundamental misunderstanding about luck. It is not something that simply happens. It is something you create. When people talk about being in the right place at the right time, they fail to ask a crucial question: why were they in the right place? Was it truly random? Or did they put themselves there through years of dedication? Most of the time, it's the latter. The actor who gets a breakout role, the entrepreneur whose business takes off, the athlete who wins a championship, these people didn't just stumble into success. They worked for years in obscurity, training, failing, improving. Their luck was the result of relentless effort. Luck is also a post hoc rationalization used by those who fail. It is easier to look at someone successful and say they were lucky than it is to acknowledge your own shortcomings. Because if you admit that their success came from discipline and sacrifice, then you are forced to confront the fact that you too could have achieved more if only you had made different choices. And that realization is painful. So instead, people cling to the illusion of luck because it absolves them of responsibility. What is the alternative? The alternative is to stop thinking in terms of luck and start thinking in terms of competence. The alternative is to assume that no matter how unfair life may be, the best strategy is still to take control of whatever aspects of your life you can. You may not be able to change where you were born or the circumstances you started in, but you can work, you can learn, you can improve. And if you do that long enough, people will look at you and say you're so lucky. But you will know the truth. Luck had nothing to do with it. The world does not hand you success. It does not gift you opportunities. It offers you adversity, struggle, and resistance, and it waits to see what you will do with them. This is an uncomfortable truth, but one that must be accepted if you want to move forward in life. The idea that the world should simply give you what you desire without effort, without sacrifice, is a childish fantasy, one that leads only to resentment and stagnation. The reality is that life is structured in such a way that you must earn what is valuable. And the means by which you earn it is by facing adversity head-on. People often believe that if they work hard, they deserve success, but even that is not entirely true. Hard work is necessary, but it is not a guarantee. The world does not owe you anything simply because you put in effort. It is indifferent to your desires. What the world does do, however, is present you with obstacles constant, unrelenting challenges that test your ability to push forward. These challenges are not unfair punishments. They are the process through which you forge yourself into someone capable of handling success. Imagine someone who expects life to be easy. The moment they face hardship, they collapse. They become bitter. They blame the system. They blame other people. They blame circumstances beyond their control. But what they fail to realize is that the struggle itself was the opportunity. It was the proving ground. It was the mechanism through which they could have transformed into something stronger, more competent, and more resilient. Instead, they rejected that responsibility, expecting the world to simply give them what they wanted. And because of that, they remain weak. You must understand something fundamental: success is reserved for those who can withstand failure. The world does not give handouts because unearned rewards do not create strength. If everything were easy, if everything were given to you, you would never develop the resilience necessary to maintain what you have. You see this with lottery winners who go bankrupt, with individuals born into privilege who waste their potential. They were given everything, but they earn nothing. And because they earn nothing, they lack the competence to handle it. So what should you do? You should stop expecting life to be fair. Stop assuming that struggle means you are on the wrong path. Instead, recognize that struggle is the path. It is through adversity that you develop into someone capable of creating your own opportunities. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is a chance to become more resilient, more intelligent, more prepared. You can complain that life is difficult, or you can use difficulty as a tool for transformation. Those are your choices. The world will not hand you anything of value, but it will give you endless opportunities to earn it if you are willing to face the challenge. Responsibility is the foundation of opportunity. Without it, there is no direction, no growth, and no possibility for genuine success. If you are unwilling to take responsibility for your life, your choices, your failures, your potential, then you are surrendering control to chaos, to external forces that care nothing for your well-being. The people who create opportunities, the ones who build meaningful lives, are the ones who voluntarily shoulder as much responsibility as they can bear. And they do so not because it is easy, but because it is the only way to carve order out of the overwhelming complexity of existence. People often say they want success, but what they truly want, without realizing it, is the illusion of success without the burden of responsibility. They want the rewards without the sacrifice, the benefits without the discipline, the recognition without the struggle. But that is not how reality works. The world does not offer you an easy path. What it offers is responsibility, the weight of obligations, of expectations, of duties. And it is within that weight that opportunity is found. Why? Because responsibility forces you to become more than you are. When you take on responsibility, you are compelled to develop competence. You are forced to learn, to adapt, to improve. You become stronger, sharper, more capable. And as you do, you position yourself in a place where opportunities naturally arise. People trust you. They rely on you. They seek you out. And as a result, the world begins to open up to you in ways that would have been impossible had you chosen to remain passive. Think about it in practical terms. Who is more likely to be given an opportunity, a person who takes responsibility for their work, their habits, and their future, or someone who avoids effort, shifts blame, and refuses to grow? The answer is obvious. Responsibility is a signal. It tells the world that you are someone who can be counted on, someone who is disciplined, someone who will rise to the occasion when needed. And that is exactly the kind of person who is given opportunities because they have proven that they can handle them. But responsibility is not merely about external success, it is also the foundation of personal meaning. A life without responsibility is a life without purpose. If you refuse to take responsibility, then you drift, aimless and resentful, blaming others for your lack of direction. And that path leads nowhere but to misery. But if you willingly take on responsibility, if you commit yourself to something difficult, something meaningful, then you begin to build a life worth living. So if you want opportunity, do not wait for it to appear. Seek out responsibility. Find something to care about, something to work towards, something to improve. Carry the heaviest burden you can manage, and then work to become strong enough to carry even more. because it is within that burden that you will find growth, and within that growth that you will find opportunity. And in doing so, you will become something far greater than you are now. Perseverance is what separates those who achieve from those who stagnate. It is not intelligence, not talent, not luck, though those things may play a role. The primary factor that determines success is the ability to endure, to continue forward in the face of difficulty, to persist when every part of you wants to quit. Most people fail not because they are incapable, but because they give up too soon. They encounter resistance, they face setbacks, they experience failure, and rather than pushing through, they retreat. They assume the obstacles are proof that they are not meant to succeed, when in reality, the obstacles are the very things that shape them into someone who can. Life is structured in such a way that anything of value requires effort over time. No meaningful goal, whether it be a career, a relationship, a skill, or a personal transformation, can be accomplished overnight. There is a price for success, and that price is paid in hours of disciplined work, in frustration, in setbacks, and in an unwavering commitment to continue despite all of it. Most people want the rewards without the struggle. They admire those who have accomplished great things, but they are unwilling to endure the process that made those accomplishments possible. And this is why perseverance is the dividing line. The person who refuses to quit will eventually surpass the one who is more talented but unwilling to push forward. You see this in every field: athletes who outwork their competition, entrepreneurs who persist through failure after failure, artists who refine their craft for years before receiving recognition. The common denominator among those who succeed is that they did not allow failure to define them. Instead, they learned from it, adjusted, and kept going. People often misunderstand failure. They see it as a final judgment, a confirmation that they are incapable or that they should not have tried in the first place. But that is an entirely false interpretation. Failure is an instructor. It teaches you what doesn't work. It sharpens your skills. It strengthens your resilience. And if you approach it correctly, it provides you with the very information you need to succeed in the future. The only real failure is refusing to try again. So why do people quit? Because perseverance is hard. Because it requires you to endure discomfort, to tolerate uncertainty, to push forward when nothing guarantees that your effort will pay off. And that is precisely why those who persevere are rare and why they succeed. The path to success is littered with the remains of those who could not bear the struggle. And if you refuse to stop, if you keep moving forward despite the difficulties, then you will separate yourself from the idle, from the complacent, from those who resign themselves to mediocrity. You must decide, will you be the person who quits or the one who keeps going? Because in the end, perseverance is the only thing that guarantees progress. And progress, however slow, will always take you further than inaction. You have a choice to make. You can wait for the right moment, the perfect conditions, the opportunity that may never come. Or you can take action. You can recognize that opportunity is something you create, not something you are given. You can abandon the illusion of luck, embrace responsibility, and push forward despite every obstacle in your way. The world will not hand you success, but it will challenge you, and in those challenges lies the potential for growth. If you are willing to persevere, if you refuse to be stopped by failure, if you take on as much responsibility as you can bear, then you will carve out a place for yourself in the world. And that place will not be given to you, it will be yours because you earned it.